the role of a medieval Total War seems to be to perfect the system. Medieval 1 was the last game on the first engine, Medieval 2 was the last game on the second engine, and I truly expect Medieval 3 to be the last on the Warscape 3 engine. And so, one basic rule of this episode of What Do We Want must be that it uses the same engine as the previous titles. Some may not want to see that, but it's a rule I added and we just have to live with it, for the sake of simplicity and tradition with this video series. The second rule is we still need to make money from this. We are back, bringing the community together once more, to discuss what we want to see if we were to have a serious say in the design of a Medieval 3 Total War. What I want out of a Medieval 3 is to feel more like a medieval king. But the medieval world and the life of a king was a very complex one. I don't want the game to be complex, as in difficult to learn, but I do want it to be complex with the amount of open opportunities and deciding what to do. This can be done very well and be historical with a true family tree that stretches outside of your faction and into all other nations' factions, like every faction in one massive tree. Having a massive family tree covered with all the information you need to know, yet simple to understand and easy to navigate, I feel is very important. This you can then use to also lay claims and inherit territory. Yet still this is Total War, not Paradox. This should be nowhere near as complex as it is in those games, as a Medieval 3 player will have much more to think about, such as battles, so cannot spend too much time on the complex family tree issues. For a Medieval 3 to work and take advantage of current technology, it needs the medieval feel, and what better way to do this than with a heavily detailed family tree with a focus on inheriting land. Medieval 2 was a great game, but Medieval 3 must expand upon it in every way possible. The map should be no exception. I would love to see Medieval 3 merge itself with another title people want to see. Mongol Total War. Imagine if Medieval 3 spanned from Europe, included the entire northern half of Africa, the Middle East, India, China, and the Mongols. I will get into events after this, but first I just want to say that this is the medieval game I feel we will need. If we just limit it to Medieval 2 map size, then that fails to truly grasp the scope of what is going on during this time, and all the interesting cultures that could give the game so many more angles. One major attraction of Warhammer 2 is all the diverse cultures that are available. Some of you will want a world map, but the truth is, PCs won't be able to handle it. If the map went for full world, it would have to cut out factions, go into limited depth, and probably look rather blocky. I don't think we need a full world. Into the events, and what I really would love to see would be for the Mongols to be a traceable nation from the start, from their humble beginnings, or humble enough, to being the Great Terror. I think that would work much better than have them randomly spawn out of nowhere. Also, it could be fun to try and stop them early. Crusades and jihads need to be a major part of the game, and must be more celebrated than in Medieval 2. These events should always wildly change the flow of the game, as they historically did. Also, in addition to that, I feel there should be more reward. That's why I borrow the Vortex idea from Warhammer 2, in a way, and have PayPal? papal victory objectives, where you can win by building great cathedrals, capturing relics, and holding key holy cities. And you can win just by having that. Just something to deepen the mechanic and give the player of a Christian power more reason to feel and act like a Christian. So much can be done with this and the Pope, and it would be a shame to just cut it out and keep it too similar to Medieval 2. The Northern Crusades should also feature, not just the Middle East. Historically, the reason why places like Venice and Constantinople were so wealthy, yet much less so now, is because most foreign goods flowed from the east along the Silk Road and then into Europe, favouring Mediterranean port cities. However, the discovery of the Americas changed this, and goods could now come from the west. This made Western Europe suddenly the main trading power of the world, and weakened the East. This I want to see in game, and have trade play a minor role. It could also give much more value and purpose to discovering the Americas. Of course, historically this would not happen until later into the game, but this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Through research, the players should be able to discover the Americas or build the ships to do it much sooner. Yet at a great cost of limiting yourself in other areas if you were to focus down one specific tree. A similar tech research rate could work well for gunpowder. Your discovery of it depends on your investment into that field. How much are you willing to sacrifice elsewhere to get gunpowder first, or reach the Americas first? I just really want to talk about the end turn problem now. The issue is, in an average game, players very rarely go beyond 200 turns, either because they have won by then, are too powerful, or are bored and have started again. If we go with a 4 turns per year system, which I feel works best with this engine, then that is only 50 years of history that will be experienced, which, let's say it starts in 1066, only takes most players to 1106. By that point, no Mongols, only one crusade, and hardly any changes to the world has taken place. So for history to actually work with the 200 turn average, then each end turn would need to be about 1 year and 1 season long. That way every end turn is a new season, but also that will take the average campaign to around 13-16. Maximum year limit, 400 turns, would take it to about 1,500, just up until the Americas have been discovered historically, which will be perfect. Yet, how will characters age? 1.25 years per turn is very fast. A king who comes on the throne at, let's say, 30 will only rule for 40 turns until he is too old to fight. That does not feel like enough time to send him on a crusade, let him conquer, fight numerous battles, and live a productive medieval life. The issue is, neither way can work in Total War and be accurate and fun. Therefore, I think Medieval 2 did it best by moving away from accuracy, and each end turn will last 1.25 years, yet a character will only age half a year in that time, or something like that, very similar to Medieval 2. Alright then, here we go. Time to talk about heroes. They need to be immortal gods that can survive 1,000 arrows to their head. See them charge into an army of thousands of goblins. Okay, maybe not. But I do still have a few ideas here. The joust. Imagine if characters could enter jousting competitions against each other, fight for prize in campaign, The winner is usually decided by their experience in campaign and battle compared to others. This could be really good with character development in-game, and get young people into gambling as well through gambling their characters, which I'm all for. In addition to this, historical characters should spawn at their start date, some with special battlefield abilities, such as what was the case in Medieval 2's Crusade campaign. Yeah, by the way, if you didn't know, the Crusades Kingdom expansion had heroes. These will be historically accurate to them. Imagine if Richard the Lionheart could immediately rally any mountain man, or some historical governor would be great in a specific governor role, or a historical priest who happens to have a few extra rare traits, or maybe as far as Henry V, being able to duel a certain leader instead of battling, if the other side agrees. Historical stuff like this that adds uniqueness makes you care more about the characters, makes them rarer, and gives you a reason more than just gameplay to actually keep them alive, to see their special abilities and have fun with them, but still keeping it historical. We are here at last. DLC. As said at the start, the game still needs to make money. There's many ways this could be possible. Now, it's my job right now to design a DLC system that is both fair but profitable. Three Kingdoms seems to have the best system so far. Each DLC is just a different start date, like different year, different year, different year. Yet that leaves the main original campaign really untouched and underdeveloped. It is left in the dark to die, and there's no reason to go back to the original main campaign. Not really. I feel my idea right now is the best and also most profitable DLC policy that there could be. Every single faction is playable from launch. The main factions like England, France, Austria all have their own unique features to their campaign, something that makes them unique and special from neighbouring factions. However, the smaller factions that get played less, the Swiss, Saxony, Scotland, for example, don't have this and are just plain normal factions, yet still playable if a player wants to be their own culture or wants a challenge. Yet there's nothing else enticing about them. Then the Culture Pack DLC makes them unique, adds specific special events to those factions. So you still get the faction that you want to play, all factions playable from launch. But the DLC is the devs coming back to a certain few factions, taking into consideration what they've learnt and player feedback, and just making the smaller factions more unique and have a reason to play as Switzerland or, all the little ones, all the little Italian factions. However, everything for the major factions, France, Novgorod, all of that must still be free. In addition to this, I will also welcome campaigns that start at different dates, yet the main big campaign still should be the main feel of the game. And these new campaigns must be worth it and not feel like mods. There we go. I know many will disagree, but this is the best I can come up with that is fair, yet still profitable. There's so much more that I could talk about. I really could make this a 10-part series if I really wanted to. 2 miscellaneous points now. Firstly, CA have kept to 20 units, as that is just easier on computers. However, now, computers are getting better. I feel that it could go up to 60 squads, yet have an attrition mechanic. 20 squads in a game that you can handle fine, no problem. Everyone can handle 20 squads. Yet the player, if they have enough supplies coming through, should be able to field 40 squads under one general. 50 squads should only be for the best of the best when it comes to supply routes, and 60 squads should be possible to see on the campaign, yet impossible to maintain. This should not strain PCs too much, as most people won't be going to the 50 or 60 squads. Either lack of skill or they don't want to suffer the attrition, but it should still be possible. And it makes you think more than just maxing out everything, and overall I feel it would be great. To add, sea power means very little in Total War. I feel a way that allows ships to deliver supplies to cities and armies to keep them up and functioning could be a great way to give the player a reason to control the seas, which has been lacking in most titles. So that is all. Thank you for all your opinions, they really helped me out with the video. Thank you to all the commenters. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, check out my other videos on this topic. Subscribe, maybe share with someone else you think may be interested. I've been MELKOR, hope to see you tomorrow for tomorrow's video. But for now, goodbye.